morning. I wanted to do a quick video on why 3 PSI. Here we got a boulder. This boulder. Imagine that's a sprinkler head or whatever. Let's see what happens. I don't have brakes, but I think you saw that machine did not lift. Where's the boulder? Okay, that's 3 PSI. 26.5 total tire. Now pretend you got some other anomalous material on the front. What you don't want is for that front or even the whole mass of the machine to be disturbed, unbalanced, and or do anything that changes that topping, the deck. You definitely don't want to lift off of your traction tire. If you have a rigid frame, you have a solid front wheel, and you go over something like this, what's going to happen? You're going to lift that tire, and if you put any torque to that tire, you're going to get a divot. So let's see what happens here. So, machine is mushed. Let's get a better angle on that. Like this too, you never get artifact lines, you never get the traction lines. One thing that came to note on properties I took over for somebody else was they could not see where my wheels made passes. Now part of that is because I break up my pass route structure and things like that, but one, I'm a lot lighter. My machine is balanced for my area. I'm not running it front heavy, which you would in other areas where you have a lot of hills. You see, you can't just buy something off the shelf and be optimized in performance on mowing. It can't be done. But a lot of that where you're not seeing the tires, let me turn this off real quick. It takes a little bit for the fuel to run out because I'm not grounding the coils. I'm disconnecting the 12 volt from the fuel point, so that's why it shuts off a little different than most machines. But when you're running that low PSI, you keep your surfaces flatter, okay, instead of crowned, which distributes the load, okay. So those things come together and I think give a benefit in the final outcome, but also where you see a lot of this, where you can tell where the deck went. Then that's from the whole machine getting shifted, okay? So unless you have suspension at each articulation point or each wheel, let's say, which adds a lot of mass, it's not the right way to do suspension. You got to think of the old Speed Buggy cartoon, or think of sandrails. There's a reason for the large back tire, small front tire. And aft masted, okay? And unfortunately, manufacturers lost sight of this. So when you're going down a hill on a modern machine, because they've changed the weight biasing, unfavorably so, but had to because of lawsuits. Now when you're going down a hill because of weight transfer and you go to slow down or stop, the thing just slides. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to. It's not working. And you wouldn't do that with a sandrail. You got your engine on the back, you got your big floaty tires back there, and it all makes sense. So when you combine that 3 PSI also with a dual foot lift and persist on operator having his feet on the foot lifts at all time and then compressing the back into the seat. And also, if you notice on race cars, sandrails, whatever, they don't sit like they're sitting on a toilet. They don't sit prone, right, with three different angles, okay? They sit in a zero gravity or recline type position. So when you lift your legs a little higher than what your normal footboard would be to the foot pegs, that affects changing the posture of the seating. Then when you put continuous back pressure, because you're feeling your deck, you want to feel when something is lifting on it that maybe you didn't see or something. But you also want to have a little preload on those lifters, because then you're ready to lift in the moment. And that's where your fight or flight reflex goes to, is your leg muscles first. So it's instantaneously and automatic. But also when your feet are on there, you'll find no reason not to float the deck when you go over a crown, and you give a better quality because you're not scalping the crown. When you make things easy, remember I had a video, it was easy before good. If you really want to be good, don't focus on being good. Focus on making the good way to do things so easy that you don't want to go back to the other. Make it so that it's so much more difficult to do it the wrong way that you wouldn't. All right? Because then you're going to not leave scalp. I've taken up a lot of the yards that the big companies have gotten dropped because, you know, they get a crown and they'll ride straight up it and belly hang, and basically the deck goes lower, and then the droughting starts from there out and destroys the whole yard. All right, you have a good day.